Welcome to Spectrum News at 4, coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa State capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the top stories. Judge refers Nnamdi Kanu's medical transfer motion to CJ for reassignment. African Democratic Congress coalition partners officially unveils Akwa State chapter plus. U.S.-China trade talks resume in Madrid. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more. Good afternoon. We appreciate you for joining us on the news at 4. We begin this afternoon from the nation's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who has called on faith leaders in Nigeria to continue preaching messages of peace and to actively discourage extremism, hatred, and divisive tendencies among the faithful. He said this would engender genuine reconciliation and national cohesion, particularly in communities torn apart by conflict. The president made the appeal in Akwa State at the opening ceremony of the second plenary meeting of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, CBCN. Represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akwa, President Tinubu said faith-based organizations remained a vital bridge for peace, unity, and moral renewal in the country. President Tinubu assured the gathering that his administration was committed to addressing the causes of insecurity and social unrest, including poverty, unemployment, and inequality. He also commended the church for its investments in education, health, and social welfare, often in remote and undeserved communities, and pledged his willingness to partner with the church in that direction. The president explained that his administration has already taken bold and decisive steps to stabilize the economy in the face of daunting challenges inherited over the years. He said measures such as the removal of fuel subsidies, efforts to unify the exchange rate, and initiatives aimed at curbing leakages in public finances were designed to restore confidence in the system and create a more sustainable economic foundation. Meanwhile, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has urged Nigerians to be patient with the administration of President Bola Tinubu. He assured that the reforms initiated by the government will soon bear fruits of economic prosperity. Senator Akpabio made the call in his opening address as the chairman of the second plenary meeting of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria in Akwa State. He urged Nigerians never to be despaired by the current situation, but to look forward to a brighter future. In the meantime, Akwa State Governor Pastor Omeno has applauded the Catholic Church for its critical role in social reformation. The governor gave the commendation at the opening session of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, held at the Diocesan Retreat and Youth Center, Ntoekpu, Ikorobod, Akara local government area. He noted that the church has played key roles all over the world by demanding fair, equitable, and good governance that places the welfare of the people at the center of policy formulations and implementation. He specifically commended some Catholic bishops and priests in Nigeria, including Cardinals Olubunmi Okogie, John Onayekon, and Bishop Matthew Hazan Kuka for their commitment in fighting injustice, enthronement of democracy, and other social issues, especially those concerning the poor, the vulnerable, and the voiceless. He noted that the state under his leadership has since inception heavily invested in lifting people out of poverty and giving voice and comfort to the poor and the vulnerable, which, according to him, accounts for the billions of naira spent in initiating programs that seek to improve their living conditions and the creation of a standalone Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Governor Eno said that over 70 billion naira has been paid out of the 98 billion naira inherited from previous administrations in backlog of gratuities to enable the retirees live out their retirement in peace and in relative good health. On the health sector, which the state recently declared an emergency on, the governor said besides the approval for the recruitment of 2,000 health workers into the civil service, the government has also approved the recall of all retired but fit workers in the health sector to help boost the manpower need of the sector. He welcomed the bishops to the state and congratulated the Catholic Diocese of Ikot-Ekpene and its bishop, Most Reverend Camille Sumo, for hosting the conference and for the warm and cordial relationship his administration has enjoyed from the Catholic Church and indeed the body of Christ since assumption of office. Meanwhile, the African Democratic Congress ADC and its coalition partners have officially unveiled the Akwa Ibom State ADC Coalition Chapter with the theme Reclaiming Democracy and Empowering the People. The event, which took place in Uyo, brought together party leaders, grassroots mobilizers, stakeholders, and supporters across the state. Our correspondent, Esther Otoyo, completes the report.
Speaking at the unveiling, the state chairman, African Democratic Congress ADC, emphasized that democracy in Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria must be reclaimed, renewed, and re-anchored in the will of the people. He noted that the party seeks to build a movement of inclusion, transparency, and accountability, where democracy is a right and responsibility of every citizen, with strong institutions, fair economy, and open opportunities to all.
Let me assure you today, the ADC has come to stay. We are not here to complain. We are here to lead. That is why we have formed a coalition, an alliance of like-minded patriots determined to rescue our state and our nation. Together, with our coalition leaders and partners, we have prepared clear roadmaps to usher acceptable and people will remember. Every kobo of public funds, our money will be used for the people. No more stolen billions. No more abandoned projects. The ADC will invest in industries, technologies, agriculture, and skills acquisition to give young people opportunities.
The coalition leader of ADC, Akwa Ibom State, and former Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as former Minister of State for FCT, John Akpan Udoedege, encouraged stakeholders and supporters to jointly build a strong party with love and unity. Udoedege also urged them to support each other and people saddled with responsibility to lead in different capacity in the party, setting aside differences and embracing love.
Love this party, love the presidents and members of the party. Come together. We will win. We will win. a lot of people in this party. Therefore, when we come together, there's the purpose of insecurity. That is the purpose of poverty, the purpose of a wide range of inequality and unemployment. That's why the coalition come together to tackle those things.
Representatives of the national leadership of ADC were present to lend their support, urging party faithful to work towards building a strong people-oriented movement in the state. They stressed that the coalition would focus on transparency, accountability, and inclusive governance, promising to empower communities through education, economic opportunities, and youth participation.
We are expecting to see a united front. United in the sense that it's not just all about ADC. We are seeing the people versus APC-led government. That's what you're going to see. The people are tired of poverty, the people are tired of unemployment, the people are tired of bad governance. So we're giving them a platform where everybody is carried along.
ADC, like if we start from looking at the logo of ADC, you see that parties in Nigeria that are represented by umbrella and umbrella commandment, what party represented by blue, so you need to get a blue to show as the symbol of the party, to get an umbrella to show as the symbol of the party, you need to get a cockerel to show as the symbol of the party. ADC, you don't need to buy anything. You need to just put your hand to another person and you have an agreement. That means we are not disposed to work together and get something. ADC is actually the
coalition is mostly for everyone to come together and continue together. So I'm reaching out to every woman from any walk of life to be able to come together. Let us work for each other. In ADC, we are telling you, come in and let us put our hands together. Our voices matter, especially when women stand to put the choice of something. Let's also make sure that through that joint force, we'll be able to bring the leader that will hear happen for the people, especially women and our children.
do well to mobilize in your unit, mobilize in your ward, talk to the people about ADC. This is the new way to go, and this is not the old order.
The ceremony had in attendance the National Vice Chairman Diaspora, South-South Augustine Ekanam, Assistant National Organizing Secretary, South-South Dr. Ben Smith, the 2023 governorship candidate, Labour Party, Akwa Ibom State, Dr. Udwarobong Udo, and the 2023 governorship candidate of Action Alliance, Akwa Ibom State, Jerry Akpan, among other dignitaries. High point of the event was the symbolic hoisting of the ADC and coalition flag, signifying the official commencement of the party's activities in Akwa Ibom State. Esther Otoyo, Spectrum News.
On judicial matters, Justice Musa Liman of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has sent back to the Chief Judge a motion filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, for reassignment. Kanu, in the motion ex parte, is seeking an order of the court transferring him to the National Hospital, Abuja, for urgent medical attention. In a short ruling, Justice Liman ordered the transfer of the case file back to the CJ of the Federal High Court following an application by Kanu's counsel, Uchenna Njoko, SAN, considering the fact that the annual vacation of the court will end on September 15 today. Meanwhile, counsel to the Department of State Services, Adeboyega Awomolo San, did not oppose Uchenna's application at the resumed hearing earlier. The judge hinted that there was no time for the vacation court to decide Kanu's motion. In another development, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET has again forecast thunderstorms and rainfall from today till Wednesday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook has predicted that Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Adamawa, Borno, Taraba, Niger, Kogi, Kwara, Kano, Nasarawa, Jigawa, Yobe, Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, Benue, the FCT, and Kebbi states would experience isolated thunderstorms with moderate rains in the north, with flash floods likely to occur in Adamawa, Taraba, and Gombe states. Moderate rains, according to the outlook, is expected in Ekiti, Ondo, Oyo, Delta, Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River states, with cloudy skies over the southern region. The agency appealed to motorists to avoid driving during heavy rainfall and urged airline operators to obtain airport-specific weather reports for effective operational planning. Away from that, Rivers State Administrator Ibas has admonished the political gladiators in Rivers State to build on the seeds of reconciliation planted during the emergency rule to lift the state. According to him, the state cannot afford another protracted political crisis. He urged politicians and other stakeholders to learn from the lessons of the period, sheath their swords, and embrace peace, reconciliation, and unity. The administrator spoke during the interdenominational Thanksgiving organized by the Rivers government at the Ecumenical Center in Port Harcourt, the state capital, as part of the activities to usher in the restoration of democratic structure on Friday. Reports say on Thursday, the administrator will vacate the government house and Governor Fubara and members of the House of Assembly will return to office on Friday, marking the end of the emergency. Now to Africa, where the World Health Organization (WHO) has begun vaccinating frontline health workers and contacts of infected individuals in response to a new Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's DRC Kasai province. An initial 400 doses of the Ibom Ebola vaccine have been delivered to Bulape, the epicenter of the outbreak, from a national stockpile of 2,000 doses. Reports say the International Coordinating Group on Vaccine Provision has approved the shipment of an additional 45,000 doses to help contain the spread. The outbreak, declared early in September, is the DRC's first in 3 years. The virus, which thrives in the country's dense tropical forest, has so far resulted in 32 suspected cases, 20 confirmed, and 16 deaths, according to the Health Ministry in Kinshasa. WHO Program Area Manager Patrick Otem warned that the outbreak could expand, especially after a case was confirmed 70 kilometers from Bulape. He highlighted a moderate risk of cross-border spread, particularly to neighboring Angola. On the foreign scene, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is currently meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem, with the aftermath of Israel's strike in Qatar expected to be high on the agenda. Recall that the strike, which targeted senior Hamas leaders on the close U.S. allies' territory, drew international outrage and was criticized by President Donald Trump. The meeting comes as Arab leaders hold a summit in a show of support for Qatar. Its prime minister urged the international community to stop applying double standards and to punish Israel. Still on the foreign scene, China and the United States resumed trade talks today in Madrid, seeking to narrow differences on trade and technology that have strained relations between the world's two largest economies. Talks restarted at Spain's Foreign Ministry a day after delegations led by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng opened the latest round of discussions. The meetings are expected to continue through Wednesday. According to reports, officials from the two nations were seen entering the headquarters of the ministry today. The agenda includes two of the thorniest issues in the bilateral relationship: President Donald Trump's threat of steep tariffs on Chinese imports and Washington's demand that TikTok be sold to a non-Chinese owner or face a U.S. ban by September 17. Trade tensions escalated sharply earlier this year, with tit-for-tat tariffs reaching triple digits and snarling supply chains. Still to come in the news. Nigeria's Toby Amosong sprints into World Championships final. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more in a jiffy. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Now we conclude the rest of our news stories. On our business news, President and Chief Executive of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, has called for the prioritization of food security and self-sufficiency across Africa, stressing the continent's vast agricultural potential. Speaking during a courtesy visit by the Africa Rice Center at his Lagos office, Dangote highlighted agriculture as a key pillar for sustainable development on the continent. He noted that strengthening agriculture could help tackle many of the socio-economic challenges, given its role as a major source of employment and income. According to him, with effective policy frameworks and technological advancement, Africa can achieve food security and become self-sufficient. Still talking business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery will today roll out over 1,000 compressed natural gas powered trucks to begin the first phase of its direct fuel distribution scheme. Consequently, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has said it is ready to receive Dangote trucks at its various stations. Recall that the group's spokesman Anthony Chejina said in a statement that the scheme would start with the Southwest, the Federal Capital Territory, Delta, Rivers, and Edo states. The free fuel distribution scheme was supposed to have started in August but was delayed due to logistics challenges in China. We move over to health, where the Association of Resident Doctors, Federal Capital Territory FCTA, has issued notice of an indefinite strike action over the refusal of the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, to address their demands. The strike is to take effect today, September 15, 2025. In a press conference in Abuja, Dr. George Ibom said the decision followed a congress by its members on Sunday. He stressed that the strike is not targeted at the minister or anyone personally, but against the failed health sector in the nation's capital. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, has suspended its 5-day nationwide warning strike. NARD explained that the suspension followed its virtual Equinary National Executive Council (ENEC) meeting on September 13. The association disclosed in a statement that the federal government had committed to addressing the issues outlined in the doctor's strike communique, as well as the commencement of payment of the 2025 MRTF to members who were hitherto owed. The statement signed by NARD's President Oshundara Tokbe, its Secretary General Ogumbaku Oluwashola, and Publicity and Social Secretary Amobi Amoha was made available to newsmen. According to the statement, after due deliberations considering the plight of Nigerians who are grappling with health issues under the present harsh economy, the NEC resolved to suspend the strike action effective today to allow the government a 2-week window to fully implement the demands contained in their communique. NERD also called on the Oyo State government to comply with the 15-day ultimatum issued by the Oyo State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association to address the lingering issues affecting doctors at the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Lautech, Teaching Hospital, Ogbomosho. NARD further urged other state governments to promptly resolve the welfare challenges facing resident doctors. In the world of sports, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria have departed for Chile ahead of their final preparations for the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Recall that the 7-time African champions started their preparations for the World Cup by participating at the WAFU B Under-20 Championship in Ghana in August. Meanwhile, head coach Aliyu Zubairu is expected to unveil his final squad for the competition this week. The Flying Eagles' opening game is against Norway on September 29. Still talking sports, Nigeria's Tobi Amuson underlined her championship pedigree as she powered into the women's 100 meters hurdles final at the Tokyo 2025 World Athletics Championship with a commanding semi-final performance. The world record holder clocked an impressive 12.36 seconds, minus 0.2, finishing strongly ahead of the Netherlands' Nadine Visser in 12.45 seconds, while Poland's Pia Skrzydłowska secured third place in 12.51 seconds to also book her spot in the final. Amuson's display not only sealed her qualification but reaffirmed her status as one of the leading contenders for the title. The 27-year-old hurdler showed composure and control throughout the race, executing her stride smoothly and holding off leg pressure from Visser in the closing stages. On our entertainment news, Owen Cooper has become the youngest male Emmy winner at the age of 15 for his breakout role in a Netflix miniseries. Giving his speech, the 15-year-old noted that he stepped out of his comfort zone a bit, not caring if he gets embarrassed. Meanwhile, other winners at the Emmy Awards include Seth Rogen, Noah Weil, Britt Lower, and Stephen Graham, among others. Lastly, in the news at this hour, Brazilian jazz legend Hermeto Pascoal has died at the age of 89. In a statement, his family said he died with serenity and love, surrounded by relatives and fellow musicians. They noted that at the moment of his passing, Pascoal's band was performing on stage just as he would have wished, making sound and music. Born in Alagoas State in northeastern Brazil, Pascoal rose to international prominence through collaborations with jazz great Miles Davis and performances with other top musicians. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Ofonono Joseph. Thank you so much for watching. Good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your Monday.